Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking on Capnclyde's MTG. We're here for Midnight Hunt spoilers. Woot woot, werewolves in the house. So, tray tables and seat backs in their full upright position as we take off into leak season to see some sweet spoilers from the new set starting August 2nd. So, I put some of the newest ones that have came out up toward the front. So, if you've seen some of the old ones, you can just kind of thumb through them to get my thoughts at the end. Don't want to tie up too much of your time because I know where I'm at. It's late, I'm tired, and I need some sleep. So, without further ado, before we get started, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, put you some comments down below. It helps feed that YouTube algorithm so people can actually watch the channel, helps show the support, and I really do appreciate it. Also, if you got money burning a hole in your pocket, feel free to hit the description box. Inside there is a link to the eBay page for where when I start the Midnight Hunt box opening series, those cards will go straight to that eBay page for sale so you can get the cards you want, pack fresh, knowing that they're real because you've seen them open on the channel. And it does help support the channel while getting you a little something special at the end. So, with all that said, guys, let's get to it. I cannot wait. And let's take a look at some of these sweet, sweet cards. So, as we start off with the stuff that came in at the very end of the day, which technically is the beginning of the day since it's over in the Asia area. But anyway, point being, here we have the Ancestral Mirror. So, on the first side here, you can see here's the Ancestral Mirror. This is the day side. This is the night side. So, the Ancestral Mirror says, it's a black and one. For one, tap, pay one life, discard a card, draw a card, then mill a card. Then place a ritual counter on the Ancestral Mirror. Then, if there are three or more ritual counters on it, remove all of them and transform it. Activate only as a sorcery. So, once you flip this bad boy over, you get the Inherited Demon, which is a black creature demon, flying, 2 and a black. Exile target creature card from a graveyard, put +1/+1 counter on the demon, and it's a 4/4. So, not too shabby for an uncommon. I think it's going to be really great in draft. Will it see standard play? Maybe if we get something that's going to do, I've seen some stuff and heard some rumors of things that will automatically turn things in the night when they hit the field, which means if it works the way I think it does, a black and one for a 4/4 that flies seems pretty busted. So, food for thought there, guys. Moving right along. The next one we have here, we have this, so light side over here. We have the Doomblade Scoundrel, black and 3. It's a human rogue werewolf. Whenever the Scoundrel becomes blocked, creatures blocking get -1/-1 to the end of turn. Notice it says creatures, so it's every creature that blocks it. That's pretty sweet. And it has daybound, which means when it comes in, um, it's bound. It starts the day and night cycle. Now, the dark side over here is the Doomclaw Marauder werewolf. Whenever the Marauder becomes blocked, -1/-1, same as the front side. Whenever a creature blocking Doomclaw Marauder dies, its controller loses one life. And it's a 5/4, so that's pretty sweet. Not a bad uncommon. Probably won't see standard play. It's going to be a great thing for draft, though. These are some really sweet draft cards. It's going to be a fun set, guys. Moving right along. All right, we have another one. This one's a rare. Should be good. So this one over here, we have Curse of Leeches. Very interesting. So it's a black and 2 enchantment or a curse. Enchant player. When this card transforms into a Curse of Leeches, attach it to a player. Nice. Excuse me. Into Curse of Leeches. So flipping back and forth. Okay. At the beginning of an enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses one life and you gain one life. Very nice. So when it's daybound, which is on the other side, which is this, it's a blood-sucking dark leech. It's a leech horror with lifelink, nightbound, and 4/4. This, as a rare, seems busted. Because it doesn't matter what side it's on, it seems fantastic. This is, wow, this is a sweet card, guys. Especially for black, 3 mana. Like, this got some stuff. Alright, moving right along. Next here we have the Consuming Ooze. Very interesting. So, 5 mana, 2 green, and 3 for an ooze. Consuming Ooze power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. Toughness equal to the number +1. So, alright, so it's 5 mana Goyf. Start off with. At the beginning of your end step, create a green ooze creature token with this creature's power is equal to the number of card types. Oh, so it spits out Goyfs as well for 5 mana. As a mythic, this thing is going to be bonkers in draft, and this may be good enough for standard play. I mean, even though it's 5 mana, a little ramp to get this bad boy out and have, pair it up with another couple spells. Yeah, this thing could be nutso real quick. We'll have to wait and see, but I think this thing's got some legs. Well, technically somebody else's legs. But anyway, moving right along. Let's get back in the English section, guys. Actually read these cards. So here we have Can't Stay Away. So for a black and a colorless, or I'm sorry, a black and a white, we have a rare sorcery. Return target creature card with that mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. It gains if this creature would die, exile it instead. Interesting. And it has flashback of 5. Very, very interesting. Um, Graveyard shenanigans. It's really going to matter if we have enough good stuff to make 3 value or less good. Now, this may be something that just goes straight into modern. 2 mana, it's definitely modern cost. 3 value or less, that's definitely modern cost. Uh, Flashback of 5 gives it a good utility late game in case you kind of flood out. So this could be a good rare, so we'll have to keep an eye on this one. Obviously, it's great for draft because it gets stuff out of the graveyard. So we have the Geist Playing Reservoir. 1 red and 2 colorless artifact. Very interesting. So whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you put a charge counter on the reservoir. For red 1 and tapping it, remove any number of charge counters. It deals that much damage to any target. Nice. Red and 1, exile top card of your library. You may play it this turn. So that's not bad. 3 delay, so you're guaranteed to possibly have 4 mana. So if you're playing a cheaper version of the deck, you can play by any card off the top. This it says play a card, so you can even get land off top of your deck and put them into place. This could be pretty good depending on what Red Blue's doing, because it looks like Red Blue's got a little storm mechanic going for it. We'll have to take a look at that here as we go on, from what I'm seeing. So we got a reprint, Thermal Alchemist. This is your basic 1 red 1/03. I forgot what set it was in. It's a defending wall, but it does 1 damage by tapping it to each opponent. And when you cast an instant or sorcery, you get to untap it, which is why I believe, as I was thumbing through some of these, this is going to make for a storm deck inside this format. So something to think about. Moving right along, next we have Foul Play. So black and 1, sorcery, destroy target creature, power 2 or less, and investigate. So because it's a sorcery, I don't think it's that good. However, for standard, it's phenomenal. However, the 2 or less could be really bad too. Clues are great though. So this is going to be up in the air. It's really going to depend on what the format looks like. Now, with that said, power 2 or less is not very good. If it was maybe mana cost, this could easily see some modern play, even though it's a sorcery, just because it has the ability to investigate. Probably a good draft card, but I think that might be the end of that, though. Moving right along, next we have the Ominous Roost. So blue and 2 for enchantment when it enters the battlefield, or whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, create a 1/1 blue creature token with flying. This creature can only block creatures with flying. Very interesting uncommon. Again, flashback mechanics are a big thing, especially in red from what I've seen. So this could be part of a storm deck because you could literally storm out for giggles without having a great shot and just make a bunch of 1/1 blue birds to kill somebody with, while decimating their field by shocking or bolting of their entire field while making 1/1 birds to kill other stuff. So pretty sweet. Next, moving on, we have the Village Watch. So this is a light side. I'll show you that side here in a second. So for red and 4, 5 mana for a 4/3 with haste and daybound. It's not bad for an uncommon. It's kind of overpriced, but the backside maybe. Village Reavers says all your stuff has haste and it's a 5/4. I mean, it's a creature. Can't really downplay that. It's fine for draft. That's really all it's going to see probably. Moving along next, we have a card that I forgot to go look up in English. How about them apples, guys? Don't worry, I swear I am a professional. So let me just go ahead and look this card up real quick again. So what this card actually says here is on this side here we have the Doll Stitcher. So blue and 2, excuse me. It is a human wizard. Whenever you cast instant sorcery spell, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay. That is phenomenal. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more creature tokens, you may transform Doll Stitcher. This thing seems very powerful in a storm deck, just like with the bird, that 1 bird enchantment. So the bottom half of this, once you flip it over, once you have 3 creatures, you have the Toy Factory artifact. It says creature tokens you control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness of 3/3. Oh, so this is the card that they spoiled basically. So it turns all your 2/2s into 3/3s. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may transform the Toy Factory. So that's pretty cool. You can flip flop it back and forth, keep making things. I think this is a great mythic, and this is probably going to be in standard, have a deck built around it. But at least it's a creature, so it is killable. Once it becomes a Toy Factory, though, you can't make creatures anymore. Um, I don't know. It's very interesting. I like it, though. It's pretty sweet. So, moving right along. So, what we have here, we have Light Up the Night, or Light Up My Life. But anyway, point being, Light Up the Night is basically a pretty good fireball from what I've seen. It's a red and X, and it deals X damage to any target. Now, it deals X damage plus 1 damage instead if that target is a creature or planeswalker. Pretty sweet. So you basically get, if you're attacking the player, it's a fireball. If you're attacking um, anything on the field, it's equal damage, which is really sweet. That's some serious power creep. Plus, it has flashback. There it is, boys. Stuff from the graveyard. But the flashback is remove X loyalty counters from among planeswalkers you control. If you cast spell this way, X can't be 0. So that may be very limiting, but as far as a removal spell goes, this is amazing. I don't know how this doesn't see standard and draft play all over the place if you're playing red. That just seems phenomenal. Just it kills everything. Everything dies. Burn it with fire. Anyway, moving right along. So got a bunch of commons here. Defense straight. That's a hell of a word. Black and 2, instant destroy target creature without flying. That's very narrow, but a good common removal, I guess. Famished Foragers, red and 3 for 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, if the opponent lost life, you get 3 red mana. 3 red mana, you discard a card, draw a card. So if you manage to do damage to them on turn 4, you get to cast this basically for 1 mana and then discard and draw a card. Pretty sweet. We have Stormrider Spirit, 5 mana, 3/3, Flash Flying Spirit. Anyway, moving on. We have Brimstone Vandal, red and 2 for a 2/3. Now, this is pretty neat. This is a creature devil with menace. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as Brimstone Vandal enters the battlefield. And whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, the Vandal deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this is a great sideboard card, especially in draft for people who want to flip from day to night constantly. So this may be like even a sideboard card for standard, possibly. But definitely in draft, this would really be a thing if you're not doing the day-night thing. So, moving right along. So next here we got another group of commons. We have the Arrogant Outlaw, black and 2 for a 3/2, not a bad rate. And when it enters the battlefield, if opponent lost life this turn, the opponent loses 2 more life and you gain 2. So that's a pretty sweet uncommon. Basically, it's like a 3/2 creature with a shock stack to it and a gain life. Yeah, this just does a whole lot for a common. I like that card. Heart Rejuvenator, green and 3 colorless for a 2/4. When Heart Rejuvenator enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, and you can tap it to add mana of any color. This is very similar to a card in one of the previous draft sets. Spoiler alert, this thing is bonkers good because it blocks everything, plus it makes mana for ramp. And it gains you 3 life. Like this thing, this does it all. It slices, it dices, it makes julienne fries. This is one of the best commons in green you probably be able to draft from previous experience. Unless this draft format's a little different than last time. But from what I'm seeing, this is going to be a thing. So, Might of the Old Ways, you have a green and a colorless. Target creature gets +2/+2 the end of turn. And then Coven, which is the ability that if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you get to draw a card. So, nice pump spell with the ability to draw a card. Obviously, I think this is a very bad card except for in draft, maybe if you have no other choice. Because getting the Coven to go off would be really hard. But if you do get the Coven to go off, this card's amazing. Next, we have the Candlelit Cavalry. Green and 4 for a 5/5, right on rate. Coven at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, it gains trampled in the turn. So not the greatest thing in the world, but 5 for a 5/5 in draft. What more could you ask for? Moving right along to some more sweet cards. This common is called Candle Trap for white. It's pretty sweet for 1 white. It's an enchantment, or you enchant the creature. That creature now has Defender, which means it ain't doing anything. It ain't doing nothing. And you prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by enchanted creature. So this is basically like a pacifism that people can block with the creature without killing your stuff. And then for Coven, for a white and 2, you sacrifice the Candlelight Trap. And you can exile enchanted creature, activate only if you control the creature's 3 or more different powers. So once you get a good field out there, and this is the only thing saving their life, you can spend 3 mana, get it out the way, and then come on in for the home run. So as a common, this is pretty amazing removal spell, honestly. So look for this to see a whole lot of draft play. Moving right along. Next here we have the Bait Hook Angler, which is a blue and 1 for a 2/1 with Disturb. So Disturb says you may cast this card from your graveyard transformed for its Disturb cost. So this is pretty sweet. The Disturb cost is a 1/2 flyer. If it dies then, you exile it. But the one thing I would always keep in mind, guys, is especially in draft or maybe even in standard, yeah, it's only a 2/1 and it'll die, but a 1/2 flyer is still good. And the ability to, like, if someone kills this thing or it blocks and kills a creature and you get to bring it back, that's basically like a free card, or drawing an extra card. Even if it is bad, it's still a card. So I think this has lots of potential. However, in blue, it might not get as much play, um, due to how the blue decks normally function. But could be a thing. I'm really excited about this, and in draft, I think it's gonna be really good. Moving right along, next we have the Tavern Ruffian. So this guy is a red and 3 for 2/5, and he is day bound. So once again, if you don't cast any spells on your turn, it becomes night. And when it becomes night, this little fella, if you want to call this little, becomes this big fella. He becomes the Tavern Smasher. He is night bound, which again takes him flip back a days, but becomes a 6/5. So for 4 mana, pretty sweet. So if you lay this on the first turn, turn 4, I mean, or whatever, and the opponent doesn't play a spell on their turn, and this guy flips over to a 6/5, this could be a serious 4 mana 6/5 that does some serious damage in draft. Moving right along. Next here we have a great rare called the Brutal Cathar. It's a white and 2 on the day side. Human Soldier Werewolf. It's a 2/2 when the creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Brutal Cathar. Exile target creature an opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield, and it has Daybound. So when it turns night, we have the Moonrage Brute, which has first strike, ward, pay 3 life. Jesus. And it's a 3/3. And then it has Nightbound. The best thing about this guy is this card is amazing, especially for white decks. It says until this card leaves play. So if they don't play nothing and it flips over to this and they can't kill it and you manage to play 2 more spells and it flips back over to this again, the card is still exiled from the first time. Now you get to exile another card. And you can just bounce it back and forth and just keep taking their battlefield out. I see this thing getting stoked for a ban, or at least ban action, because people are going to hate playing against a card like this that just keeps flipping back and forth and killing all their stuff. Especially if there's something that can kind of play with white to keep this guy protected so creatures can't come back. It could be really busted. I like this card a lot. Moving right along, next we have Secrets of the Key. Teferi, get out of there. Get. Be macking on my girl Arlen there. Anyhow, so Secrets of the Key is 1 blue and it's a common. You get to investigate, and if a spell is cast from the graveyard, you get to investigate twice. So 1 blue gets you a clue in the graveyard, 4 will get you 2. Kind of bad odds, but to be honest with you, in a draft deck, this will be just fine. Because it's basically just draw power, right? I mean, it's kind of a 3 mana, 1 divination. And then later gives you 3 more cards. It's a big mana sink, but if you need to draw and this is the only thing you have in blue, this will work. So, not too bad, but not that great either. Next, we have another great split card. It's Tovarla, Dyer, Overlord. So red, green, colorless for 3. Human werewolf for legendary creature. It's a 3/3. Whenever a werewolf or wolf you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. That's really sweet for 3 mana. It's already great. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 more wolves or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. Wow, that's pretty sweet. On the other side, he's a 4/4. He hits a little bigger. Still draws a card when he smacks you in the face. But now for green, red, and X, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+O, gains trample till end of turn. This is going to be part of every red-green deck. And you better believe Gruul's going to be out in forest with the way this set's kind of shaping up. So moving right along. Sagarda's back, the champion of light. Almost looks like fairy wings. Anyway, so Sagarda is 2 white, 1 green, and 1 for a 4/4 flying trampling angel. Pretty sweet. Humans you control is +1/+1. Alright, it's a mythic, so it gets extra text. And then it has Coven. Whenever Sagarda attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Reveal a human creature card from among them, put them into your hand, rest on the bottom in any order. This thing is going to be expensive because white-green humans is going to definitely be a deck. Imagine just digging through your deck for Cathars that flip back and forth with werewolves, and yeah, this thing's gonna be worth some money. And commander players are gonna be loving this thing. So, moving right along, we have Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. Whatever, it's too late for me trying to talk this way. So we have a black and 1 for a 1/1 creature. Now, this is a legendary, so I only get one of them, but its ability is at the beginning of your end step. If you control no creatures with decay, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay. Now, it can't block, and when it attacks, you sacrifice at the end of combat. This thing just pumps out 2/2s all day long. This is nuts. This is going to be one of the best black cards, and if we find a way to really abuse this zombie mechanic, this thing's going to be worth a buttload of money. And this is going to be great in draft. It's only 2 mana for a 1/1. It might even see some modern play just because it can generate threats constantly. So looking pretty sweet. Like that card a lot. Moving right along next, we have, that's right, guys, it's the land cycle. And I'm not going to get into this too much other than just saying, sweet Jesus. So, before we had the fast lands, we put them in play early, they came into play on tap. Later, they always came into play tapped. These lands say if they enter tapped unless you control 2 or more, saying these things might as well be dual lands because in the first turn 1 or 2, more often than not, especially standard, you don't care if the card is tapped when it comes into play. The real downfall is later in the game when you get those cards and you need them to come into play untapped as dual lands. I think these things as a land cycle are gonna be very hot. Um, and it looks like we're going with the frenemy colors first. So, red, green, and I think I'm telling you guys, these things are going to be worth a lot of money. These are going to be probably better than Triomes, possibly. Well, not really because they're just lands, you can't fetch them. But these are going to be big play in every standard deck. So there's the red-green one. We'll flip through real quick to the other ones. Here's the other 4. We have the Overrun Farmland. That is some great art. I love it. Deserted Beach, also fantastic, although I don't know why there's so much. Anyway, the Haunted Ridge, that is also sweet. And the Shipwreck Marsh. All these cards, guys. Imagine this stuff in foil. Oh, my lord, my lord. These are going to be fantastic. I cannot wait for this land cycle. I haven't been this excited about a land cycle since Modern Horizons 2 reprinted Fetch Lands. No, seriously. This is one of the best land cycles we've had in Standard in a very long time, I think, in my personal opinion. So, collect them while you can before they go up, guys, because they're going to be expensive. So next here we have a Beloved Beggar. So it's a white and 2 for an 0/4. Basically just something to get in the way and block. Once it dies, you can disturb it from the graveyard, which makes it a flying vigilance 4/4. That when it dies, it gets exiled. So this is a really great card for draft or even maybe some standard decks to try to aggro you out because once they kill it, on turn 6, you make a 4/4 flying with vigilance. That becomes hard to deal with. So this might be a thing. Maybe it's not, but it's white. White-blue control decks love stuff like this. The only thing it doesn't do is draw a card. But since it makes 2 creatures, it might as well draw a card. So, moving right along. Next here we have the Torup de la Casta. So, as you can guess, this is another one that I didn't feel like pulling the good old, oh lord, can't even talk all of a sudden. What is with me today? Translations, that's the word I'm looking for. Wow, I'm special. Didn't pull the translations for it. Oh man. But anyway, what it really says though is it says for green and X, you can tell that part, it's a human. Enters the battlefield with X counters on it, which X is the green plus X. Now with Coven, at the end of your end step, if you control 3 or more creatures, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on any creature you want. So pretty sweet. Maybe it'll see play. Because you can make it any size you want, it makes Coven easier to get. But there's still no guarantee, and it's 3 creatures. I mean, once you have 3 creatures on the field, either you're going to get Wrath or you're going to win anyway. So, now in draft, this could really be a powerhouse. And that's for sure. So, don't sleep on that part of it. Moving right along. Next here, we have Galvic Iteration. This is what I'm talking about, Storm and Flashback. So, blue-red for this rare. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, you can copy that spell, choose new targets for the copy. And then it has flashback for 3. This just seems bonkers good. I mean, it is a rare. I mean, we've already got time walk spells and things like this. I mean, if you can get a time walk off for 6, and you make it cheap enough so you can cast this plus a time walk for 6, and then you get 2 turns, and by then you can flash this back and time walk again. You get the idea. Not to mention any other silly shenanigans you can do with any other spell. Hey, Torment the Hellfire for 9. Oh, copy. Yeah, so I think this thing's going to be worth some money. It may not see a whole lot of standard play, but Commander and some of the older formats may find a serious way to abuse this. Moving right along. Next year we have the Enduring Angel. That's right, guys. There's a new angel in town. It's a mythic, and it's a badass. So 3 white and 2 for this mythic, but he is a 3/3 flying, a double striking angel that gives you hexproof, and your life total, once it reaches 0 or less, instead transforms the angel and your life total becomes 3. Then if the angel didn't transform this way, you lose the game. So, But if you do get a chance to transform it, look at this sweet thing. You have the Angelic Enforcer, where now it's on the attack, where it's flying, has hexproof, power and toughness equal to your life total, and whenever it attacks, you double your life total. So you go from a 3/3, you swing, your life total doubles to 6/6, and now this thing is really punching people in the face hard. So this is going to be a phenomenal card, just phenomenal for draft. Even though 3 white's kind of heavy, but you can do it in draft. I mean, it's just a great card. And probably we'll see some definite standard play. Just really powerful. And Commander guys are going to love this. So, moving right along. Unruly Mob Reprint. Good old common. Never can get enough of an Unruly Mob, right? Whenever another creature you control dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, just like the regular Unruly Mob. It's almost like this is the card spokesman for 2020 and 2021. Unruly Mob. Get it? Protests, riots. Anyway, moving on. Next card we have here. Another big slap of commons that are new. We have the Festival Crasher. It's a red and 1 for a 1/3. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, it gets +2/+0. So this is a pretty sweet card for draft. May even see standard play if we get enough instants and sorceries, because this thing just gets unruly huge, because this just goes up 2/2 every time. Then we have the Pestilent Wolf here, green and 2 for a 2/2 right on rate. It gains Death Touch in a turn. Probably not going to be a standard thing, but definitely a draft thing, because this is removal. We have the Starling Wolf for 1 green. It's a 1/1 that for 2 gets +2/+2 in a turn. You only activate it once. Anybody say Basking Root Wallow without madness? This thing is going to be great. I think like late game maybe not, because you got to keep sinking mana into it, but it's every turn. Like, I have high hopes for it because Basking Root Wallow is just amazing. So that's kind of what my comparison here is. So there's no madness in the set, so there's nothing to get it for free, yada yada. So maybe it's not good enough because of that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Howl of the Hunt. This is your basic fight spell, basically. So it's a green and 2, flash, enchanted creature. Howl of the Hunt enters the battlefield. You enchanted creature is a wolf or werewolf. You get to untap it, and it gains +2/+2 and has vigilance. I know it said it's a fight, even though it's not. But to be honest with you, it is a fight for 3, because you can just keep swinging and start trade punching with somebody, and when they swing into you, zap this onto your werewolf, untap it. They hit each other, which basically is like a fight because they deal damage to each other, and then you get to block and kill their guy, and now your guy is bigger. So plus now it has vigilance, which is harder to get through. So this will be a real sweet card in draft, especially with the flash ability. So keep an eye out for it. Those combat tricks will get you. Moving right along. Next here we have Will Health, the Rot Cleaver. So black, blue, and 2 for a 3/3 legendary creature zombie. So whenever another zombie you control dies, if you didn't have decay, create a 2/2 black zombie token with decay. Very nice. It basically means all your zombies all count for 2 creatures. At the beginning of your instep, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. My god, that's nuts. This is amazing. Now you may be wondering, what is this set symbol here, Captain? So they're doing something very special with this set, where there are commander-only cards, not legal and standard, only in commander, and older formats, that will be in the set boosters and set boosters only, not the draft boosters. So the set boosters are getting more value put into them because they still have the list, and now they have this. They're really going hard on buy set boosters instead of draft boosters, and making draft boosters just playable for draft. So if you can only get this through a set booster, even if people think this is only mediocre at best, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be hard to get. And the way this card reads, it looks bonkers good. People are going to want to play this in Commander. So moving right along, we have one more for that. Same thing, except this one's a rare. It's a red and 4 It's Enchant Player Curse at the beginning of each player's draw step. Enchanted player's draw step. That player draws 2 additional cards, so you basically get to Ancestral Recall every turn. And at the beginning of your end step, or that player's end step, they discard their hand. In Commander, this could be bonkers good. Drawing 3 cards a turn, discard your hand. Well, if you're playing every card in your hand anyway, what does it matter if you have to discard? Like, this thing could be just insane. Imagine playing Commander, drawing 3 cards a turn. I mean, gee, the heck with Rhystic Study. Like, this is just nuts. This is no Rhystic Study. I'm not saying it's going to be that good. But just, wow. I mean, just wow. So, lots of good cards, lots of fun. Really enjoyed this spoiler. Sorry it took so long, guys. Wasn't trying to run the clock, but they spoiled a lot of stuff today, and it's going to keep being spoiled. So keep your eyes out for that as we keep on board for doing all this stuff. And remember, these special cards like this are only in set boosters. Can't say that enough. I'll mention it again in the next video too, so you guys know where to get them. Until next time, guys, remember to be kind. And I hope to see you across from the pre-release table. I'll see you then, guys. And that'll be at Gen Con, by the way. See you there.